Randy was known as a jokester. He loved to aggravate, but he loved life too. He was known on the fire station as the pot stirrer because if you were having a bad day or anything like that, he was known to always come in there and grab you by your shoulders and rub and shake and go, "Hey man, did you hear what so-and-so said about you?" All in fun, and would get people laughing and cutting up. He was known as his chief would refer to him as light as he could turn lemon. If he was given any lemons, he could turn them into lemonade. So, but he was known though as being a jokester, always picking and always aggravating.
He was.
Always, and both of his sons take after him. And for his quick wit, he was very quick on his feet to always had something to say. You know, he was good at thinking quick on his feet and just everyday situations or when it was an emergency situation.
He loved being a fireman. He loved his crew. He mentored his crew. He encouraged them, and he loved them. Was always, you know, they would come to him for advice, and he'd stop whatever and sit down and talk to them and give them advice, and he really loved his crew.
One thing is, Randy loved his family. He loved his boys, and he loved his wife. And he loved life. He did. One thing is, you know, he always he didn't care to embarrass you out in public or anything like that. So, again, the jokester part, but I mean, just the little bitty things that, always making sure that he told his boys always knew how much you loved them. Always giving them bear hugs out in public. And you know, when you do that to your kids, you're like, "Oh, you're embarrassing me. Don't do that, Dad." Would always give them bear hugs and kiss them out in public. And it didn't matter if it was our oldest or our youngest, you know. It didn't matter. Or with me, one thing, you know, he was always hugging or holding my hand or something, and it didn't matter if we were in our house behind closed doors or if we were out, but if he heard a song that he thought it reminded me of me and him, he'd go dance with me, baby, and we would dance. There was times we would dance in the middle of the grocery aisle. So, I mean, just his love for life. He loved life. He did. He just always having a good time. Always having a good time and laughing. Our pastor had referenced a sermon by T.D. Jakes called "Nothing Just Happens," and he had been telling me, "I want to watch that. I want to watch that. I want to watch that." And so finally, on Tuesday, he had to work on Wednesday. On Tuesday night, we'd got home. I'm going around doing everything that Mama has to do to get everybody ready for the next day. And he's in there watching that sermon. He was like, "Sit down and watch it with me, baby." And I'm like half listening while I'm cooking dinner. I'm like, "Got to get all this done, Randy." But that night, before he went to bed, he kissed both of his boys, and it was the message was "Nothing just happens," and it was talking about how we don't understand why God orchestrates the things the way He does sometimes, but just know that nothing is not unplanned and nothing just happens. Well, those 3 words have stuck with us and our family, and even us losing Randy, and of how many people have heard that story of Randy, because that night he kissed both of his boys and he said, "Remember, boys, I love you. Remember, nothing just happens." That night when we went to bed, he rolled over, he kissed me goodnight, and he says, "Baby, remember, I love you and nothing just happens." He had texted his mom and told her to watch that sermon. And I have his phone of all the people that he had texted, "Hey, I want y'all to check this sermon out. Remember, nothing just happens." And that night before they got that call, Randy actually had been in there in his room. He was a lieutenant on the fire department, and been there in his room, and was reading the Bible. But all of his guys had been telling me. He had been telling them all day long, "Remember, nothing just happens." But he called his fire chief, or his battalion chief, and had said, you know, I was talking to him on the phone. I was leaving work, And he was going, "Will you bring me something to eat?" And I said, "After I go get Chandler, we got to go pick something up, then I'll bring you dinner." And he told me, he says, "Oh, got a call, got to go, love you." Gotten that call many a times. And that was the last time I talked to him. But even though I know he saved 4 other guys that night when he went back in to get them out and the floor collapsed. But to hear how people have remembered his story, and it has been referenced so many times. A school where my youngest goes to has asked could they use that phrase, "nothing just happens." They have it all over their school. They have it on the back of their shirts. It's, you know, that's what, you know, how people do hashtag things now all over Facebook. Nothing just happens is that, and that's what we're known by is, you know, we don't understand how you're doing this and how you're going through it. It's like, well, it's not me, my strength isn't coming from me. I know where my strength's coming from. It's coming from the Lord, but I also know nothing just happens.